بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And we have few questions before we conclude our course, so we will go through them inshallah. And this is our last class with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal on Islamic fiqh. So with this we will conclude inshallah our classes, hoping to meet with you again soon in another course if Allah Azza wa Jal wills it. The first question of today is from Shiam or Sihim or Saihim. It says, I am divorced. I have 2 children, a girl and a boy. If I get remarried, can I let my daughter alone with her stepfather? The answer is that a stepfather or the husband of the mother is a permanent mahram to his stepdaughter, which means that if you were to die or to get divorced, he will still be her mahram forever. They can never get married because he was married to her mother. So yes, you can leave your daughter with your husband, who is her stepfather, without any problem in that, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal. And we're talking about normal conditions, normal people who we don't have any reason to doubt them, and hence this is okay and permissible inshallah. Abdul Samad Salim says, if someone in prayer says Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah instead of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, does this invalidate the prayer? The answer is no, because both words are so similar to one another. Salamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, Salamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum. So even in Arabic, if we were to drop intentionally the al, it would have been Salamun alaikum, as in the Qur'an. But the person concluding his prayer says Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, not clearly showing Assalamu alaikum, which is part of his laziness, yet the prayer inshallah is concluded and it is valid, and Allah knows best. Mehnur Muhsin says, is it permissible to remove the niqab for eating outside when we are outside? This depends. If removing it to eat would mean that people would see you and see your face, no, this is not permissible. Eating outside is not a necessity, it's a luxury. You can take away the food, you can eat in your car, you can take it back home and eat it home. So this is not permissible if there are men going to see your face. This is why you wore niqab in the first place, I hope. But if you are giving your back to the restaurant and only your mahrams are in front of you and the wall, and there's no one aside, so if a woman unveils and eats, nobody's going to see her. There's no problem in that. What counts is that she's not seen by non-mahram men, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Yama Shams says, I have one question and I need an answer. The question is, during lockdown, I have lost my job. Now I have delivery job at Amazon in the UK. The issue is, I am missing Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib. I pray only Fajr and Isha on time. Please tell me what I have to do. Shall I leave my new job? If your job, as you claim, won't allow you to pray on time, yes, you have to leave your job. But I don't believe that under any circumstances this is applicable on daily basis to any employee. You can't convince me or tell me that you don't have a coffee break of 5 minutes every couple of hours. You cannot convince me or tell me that you are not allowed to go to the toilet every couple of hours. What about if a person is diabetic and he has to go every half an hour? Will they prevent him from doing this or order him to wear diapers? No, this is not at all applicable. Sometimes we tend to put barriers and hurdles in front of us, convince ourselves that our superiors are monsters and they are going to fire us even if we breathe. And this is not the case. You have rights, you have needs to be fulfilled. You have a break hour or a lunch hour that every employee is entitled to, and you can divide your prayers over that lunch hour with the administration's approval. You have time to go to the toilet and this takes 10 minutes. Okay, you can pray in these 10 minutes and so on. Camelia says, after the Iqama for Jumoa, do we have to make dua that we say after Adhan? We know that whenever we hear the Adhan, the Sunnah is to repeat it after the Mu'adhin. So he says, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. If he says, Hayya ala salat, we say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Hayya ala al-falah, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. We repeat that. La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. Then we offer salutation upon the Prophet. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad, kama sallayta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, innaka hamidun majid. Then we do the dua. Allahumma rabba hadhihi ad-da'wati at-tammati was-salati al-qa'imah, آتِ محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه اللهم المقام المحمود الذي وعدته إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. Then you may say رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا محمدا رسولا. Now this is after the Adhan, whether Jum'ah or the normal 5 daily prayers. What about if the Iqamah is given? Well, after the Iqamah of Jumu'ah or any other of the 5 daily prayers, there is no dhikr, there is no dua, there is nothing to be said. You just listen, adhere, and wait for the Imam to say takbir, or you yourself, if you're praying on your own, you say the takbir of the salat. There is no such thing as dua, and Allah knows best. Hira Raza says, what's the ruling on cursing someone? It is not permissible to curse an individual. As the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, la'nul mu'mini ka qatlih. The cursing of a believer is like killing him. This is totally prohibited. We can curse those individuals whom Allah cursed. So we can curse Satan, we can curse Abu Jahl, we can curse Abu Lahab, we can curse Pharaoh. These are specific people who were cursed, and we know that they're doomed in hellfire for eternity. And there are people whom have been cursed by Allah or by the Prophet ﷺ as a description and not as individuals. So we say, may Allah curse anyone who deals with riba, interest, dowry. May Allah curse those who imitate women from among the men, or may Allah curse women who imitate men. May Allah curse thieves or people who give and take bribes, etc. But we cannot come to an individual by the name of, for example, Sa'd, and we know that Sa'd deals with riba, borrowing and lending, and we say, oh Sa'd, may Allah curse you. No, this is not permissible. This is cursing of the individual, and this is not permissible in Islam. Zayd Zubair says, I'm asking about the 4 Imams. Why did they differ in their ruling? This is his first question. The 4 Imams are one of the 4 greatest scholars of Islam. They were not the greatest scholars of Islam. They were scholars who were far, far more knowledgeable than them, such as Abdullah ibn Mubarak, Sufyan al-Thawri, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Al-Layth ibn Sa'd, and Al-Awza'i, and so on. However, these great scholars did not find students to spread their views and make schools for them. So their opinions soon weathered away. While the 4 Imams, the 4 schools of thought, Imam Abu Hanifa al-Nu'man, Imam Malik ibn Anas, Imam Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i, and Imam Ahmad ibn Muhammad ibn Hanbal, may Allah have mercy on their souls, they had lots and lots of students who carried their legacy and spread their views all over the world. That's why they have a great following. Why did they differ? Shaykh al-Islam bin Taymiyyah has compiled a beautiful small booklet where he explains this, and it's called فصل الملام أو رفع الملام في أسباب اختلاف الأئمة الأعلام. And he mentioned in this beautiful book, رفع الملام, that one of the main reasons of difference of opinion is that the evidence did not reach the Imam. For example, Imam Abu Hanifa, may Allah have mercy on his soul, did not travel as much as Imam Ahmad, for example. So a lot of the hadiths that were available in Egypt, in Damascus, in Mecca, Medina, and in Yemen were not available at Al-Kufa at that time, in Iraq. So he only gave verdicts in accordance to what he had known of, not of the entire Sharia, because he wasn't capable of obtaining that evidence, because they did not have print houses and books that we have the ability to research and look into. One of the reasons that they differed is that the evidence may have reached them, but they did not classify it as authentic. So they may believe that this hadith was weak. And we know that Imam Malik, Imam al-Shafi'i, and Imam Ahmad were all scholars of hadith. And they had the ability to authenticate and to weaken a hadith according to the chain of narrators, according to the text, according to so many things. So yes, they've got hold of the evidence, but they did not think it was authentic. A third reason was that they did get hold of the evidence, and it was indeed authentic, but they believed that it meant something else. As per the Qur'an, ثلاثة قروء. And this is mentioned in chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah. A woman who's divorced should observe her iddah for 3 qur', ثلاثة قروء. And scholars differed whether this is referring to purity or to menses. And the reason is that in Arabic it can be both. Likewise, Imam Shafi'i differed with all other schools of thought when it came to the verse أَوْ لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء, which speaks about wudu and tayammum. So the ayah says, or لَامَسْتُمُ النِّسَاء can be interpreted as you touched women, and it can be interpreted as you had sexual intercourse with women. So the majority of scholars say that touching a woman does not break your wudu, while Imam Shafi'i says it does. So the evidence is there and it's authentic, but the understanding is different. And it could have been, to some of them, authentic and the understanding is true, but it was abrogated. And the other side thinks that no, it is not abrogated, it is still valid. So there are so many reasons for their difference of opinion, and this is why Allah mentioned it in the Qur'an, that whenever you dispute or differ in regards to an issue, then you have to return it and consult Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, meaning the Qur'an and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Zayd's second question was how one should deal with those who curses them. Anyone who curses the four Imams, the four leaders of the schools of thought of the Muslims, is most likely a hypocrite. He's not a real Muslim, because they have done so many good things for the Ummah, and the vast majority of the Muslims pray for them and make dua for them for their services to Islam. So if someone comes and curses them, then this person is an ignorant imbecile, most likely, or he could be a full-fledged hypocrite wanting to undermine these great beacons of Islam. Yani, nowadays we have parasites that are trying to talk ill about Sahih al-Bukhari, and they claim that it is not authentic. They start tarnishing its reputation. These are parasites. Nobody listens to them. They're not scholars. They're not known among the Muslim world to be people of piety and righteousness. So such people are to be totally ignored, not to be mentioned, not to be given the fame and exposure they were looking for. Rather, ignore them until they wither away and die and go to the dumpsters of history, like all those before them who had tried to do the same, and now nobody remembers them except by cursing them. May Allah protect us. Sanjida says, nowadays for online business, women do live and give their pictures. So is all their income becomes haram, or is it halal? No, this is too generic. If a person does a halal job, so he sells online, he is a librarian, works in a library, he works in a supermarket, but he shaves his beard, or he doesn't wear the hijab, would we say that this person is his earning is haram? Of course not. His earning has nothing to do with another sin, such as shaving the beard, or missing a salat in congregation, etc. These are separate. So if a woman sells halal products in a halal transactions online, but she's sinful for going live and chit-chatting and not wearing the hijab, her income is halal due to the products she's selling and buying. but she is definitely sinful for giving away her picture or appearing without hijab. Abu Imran says, what is the ruling about female circumcision in Islam? This seems to be a debate in the Muslim countries. To my knowledge, there is a hadith or two recommending female circumcision, but it is not mandatory. And we don't have any solid proof that the companions, the female companions, did this. We know that there was one woman who was specialized in doing this, and the Prophet giving her ﷺ instruction how to do it and not to go extreme in taking a big chunk or a big piece of it, because that would deprive women from enjoying sex after marriage, and not to leave a big chunk of it, as this would cause trouble. So there are hadiths that are authentic, but as I said, it is not mandatory as in the case of male circumcision, for example, which is wajib. Therefore, one should not do it unless there is a reason to it, and unless there are experts doing it, and as long as it is legal in the country they're doing it. Calling it I think FGM, female genital mutilation, is not true, because female genital mutilation is totally prohibited. It's haram. It's a mutilation. Circumcision is not a mutilation. So it has to be looked into according to a number of factors. Yes, what is being done in Africa, for example, or in some parts of maybe India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, maybe somewhere in the jungles of here or there, this is un-Islamic. The way it's being done is un-Islamic. The rituals accompanying it are un-Islamic. But we cannot tarnish the reputation of Islam claiming that this is something that is being done to women, when we know that 99% of women in Islam don't do it. You come to Saudi Arabia, no one is circumcised. You come to Indonesia, 250 million, no one is circumcised. You go to many countries here and there of the Muslim world, and in Arabia, you will not find people having their girls circumcised. Only in tribal areas, in some even non-Muslim countries. Even the non-Muslims, the Ethiopians, for example, they do it. Some of the pagans, some of the Christians, they all do it. But not the Muslims. Rarely you will find Muslims doing it, and those who are doing it, the vast majority of them doing it due to tribal cultural customs, and those who do it to religious beliefs are less than 0.00001%, and Allah knows best. The last question for today's lesson or lecture or meeting, Muhammad Jude says, what about buying online? Is it permissible? The answer is yes. If you buy halal products online, this is permissible. Selling it online depends on whether you own it and possess it or not. But buying things you see and you like, there's no problem in buying them, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. And with this, we come to the conclusion of today's short lesson. As I said, this is the last of our meetings until we come to a decision whether to start a new text, a new book, whether on Aqidah or something else beneficial or not. So until we meet next time, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.